And here we are, Matt Hardy.
Lo and behold, here we are. It's coming up, man. Less than a week away now. It's crazy. And this last weekend for me was just a madhouse as well. I did WrestleCon. We had a Hardy party. I showed up at GCW. I did some production stuff for WWE. I did some media content, and then lo and behold, we ended up the whole weekend with showing up at SummerSlam. So it was a very good weekend.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on that. Some people saw you guys backstage, and they were like, "Oh, could they be involved in the tables, ladders, and chairs fight?" And you guys were great. You came out. I saw your promo on it. You got a chance to watch the match. You were highlighted in front of all the 113,000 that they had this weekend. Well, what is that like, having that TNA WWE? I don't want to call it a partnership, but that relationship where they can still honor you and you guys can still be featured on their television.
It's really cool. This kind of came about last minute. We talked about it for a couple days. It happened just spur of the moment, early that morning, Sunday morning, and it was able to work out. We were doing a signing for a collectible shop, Pandora's Box, which was massive and packed, and we had to burn through the line to delete it to make sure we could actually get to SummerSlam, and we did.
It's so great, Matt, that you have this partnership with TNA where you're going on a WWE broadcast and they're promoting an event in Lowell where it's the last time it's the Hardys versus the Dudleys / Team 3D, and it's all for TNA, and that's a big deal.
Huge.
And so why is now the time for the last match between the Hardys and the Dudleys?
Well, I feel like if we're gonna have one more with the Dudleys, we have to do it now. We have to do it now. You know, Devon has had some health issues in the past. He's doing really well now. He feels great. Who knows how I feel at the end of our match? You know, and Bubba, I know he's definitely ready to wind it down too. Jeff and I, we're still feeling like a million bucks. We're out there wrestling like it's 2001. We're still going crazy. So I think now is the right time to do it. Bound for Glory is the biggest TNA show of the entire year. So it's a great place to house this massive event, and it's crazy, regardless of what people think. Oh my God, well, this is the Hardys and the Dudleys, it's 2025 and they're going to do this. I have not seen so many people yearn and just crave to see an event like this match since it's been advertised at WrestleCon all weekend. People were talking about it nonstop, and people are so excited to see this match again. And I think we're going to build anticipation, and it is going to exceed expectations by far.
Matt, one thing I got to say about you, man, you understand the writing of it, right? The way to write a story. And I wanted to bring up Slammiversary. I watched it. I thought it was a great event, but the finish, right?
Yeah.
You guys had, it was like the catwalk ladder came down. Like, was that you? Who was a part of that? And it was great, right? It was different than what was out there. I didn't see it coming, and it just shows again the athletic ability, all the creativity. But how did that thing get booked?
Well, I mean, once again, to make a wrestling match feel fresh and new and original, like you're seeing something for the first time ever, there has to be an element of newness. There has to be an element of creativity in it. And I'll tell you, this cable ladder, we've had this in our back pocket for over 20 years. I think Jeff initially came up with the idea shortly after TLC 2. We were talking about doing it the next time we had a ladder match, and there's a couple times we pitched it to do it, and it didn't exactly work. And Tommy Dreamer, who is the head of creative now, we told him the idea. He loved it. He set it up. So all of the ladders that were in the match, there were 8 ladders. They were all broken. We had to go out of our way to make sure those ladders were all broken. And then Jeff's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I said, I'll go to the back. I'll find another ladder. There's got to be one in this venue. And he's looking up and he sees something rolled up. You know, it's like what the people who hang the lights and the structure, it's what they use to climb the cable ladder. And Jeff said, hey, what is that? And he goes, oh, it's the cable ladder that we use to hang things. And he goes, how does it come down? And he says, oh, this is the control right here. Then Jeff hits it with the control and it lowered down. It just rolled down real slowly. And we got a holy shit chant because of a ladder dropping from the ceiling. It was amazing. So, you know, this is awesome. Holy shit. It was so cool, man. And it was different. It's never happened in a ladder match before, and that's what really made this ladder match stand out.
The Hardy Party comes to Kowloon this Sunday. Doors at 12, show at 1, VIP is $250, GA is $50. Matt, are you and Jeff, are you specifically gonna keep going until the bookings end? And you have matches like the famous Cody Rhodes list from years ago. Do you have matches that you want to get in before the Hardy Party kind of ends?
We don't have a list of opponents written down like Cody did at that time. I mean, there's a couple people we would like to face, especially we got to talk with some of the TLC guys that were in the match at SummerSlam, and we've never wrestled the Motor City Machine Guns. We would love to do that at some
Really?
point.
Wow.
Street Profits, yeah, it's very odd that we have not wrestled the Motor City Machine Guns yet. Street Profits, it'd be fun to wrestle with them. Obviously, I have a huge investment because I was real tight with Wyndham, Bray Wyatt. I would love to do something with the Wyatt Six in some capacity. So there are definitely teams out there that we would love to work against. Do we have them on a list? No, not necessarily. But as long as Jeff and I, we feel good, we're taking care of ourselves, we're very good and healthy. Whenever we did those NXT shows, we had to go through the entire testing schedule for everything. And just being older, the guy said, whatever you guys are doing, keep doing it because you guys seem like you're 35 years old. That's the kind of condition your body's seen, man. So that was great to hear. And man, we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. We're enjoying what we're doing. We're having the most fun we've ever had. And I'm telling you, those bookings aren't ending anytime soon. We get calls nonstop from all over the place. And it's great, man. We're very blessed and we're very grateful for the position we're in.
All right, we'll talk with Matt Hardy of the world famous Hardy Boys. They'll be at Kowloon this weekend. Matt, I got to ask you a personal question. You're on the Patriots, Celtics, and Bruins radio network and the Revolution. So we have a lot of big-time sports fans that are wrestling fans, but
Right.
we also have those fans that don't understand what else goes into it. Like, we watch your matches, but you guys are, like you mentioned it, you are at WrestleCon this week. You're doing all sorts of things. You're doing the event this weekend. Can you talk about what that's like on the road and explain to our listeners what you guys do and the events you set up and what you have going on? Your brother's doing an acoustic set this weekend. Like the travel and the extracurricular that you guys do off screen is incredible. Can you just speak to our listeners about what you guys are doing, off screen?
Yeah, I think the Hardy Party, we initially did it as something for us to build onto, and we're doing a lot of these nowadays. Once our in-ring career does end, it gives us another outlet because I do, and it's cool. John Alba, the host of our podcast, is going to be there live, so you get to see myself and John there, and we're going to do a completely first-run episode of the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy there at Kowloon. Once again, this is a very cool thing. We'll tell stories. I will share secrets I've never shared before. It's very interactive. I'll be willing to answer questions from the crowd, and it's really fun. Jeff does these acoustic concerts, and I'll show you. I love watching Jeff do these because he is so passionate about it. It reminds me of when we first started wrestling in the 90s, and he's in the middle 90s, about to make it to WWE. That's where he's at in his career, and he puts so much passion into it, and he loves it so much. And you see him at a very vulnerable state. So these things are great. They're great extracurricular things for us to do on top of our wrestling to build for later down the road. But man, the travel is tough. Especially I have 4 kids. They keep me busy. They are a full-time job in themselves. And we'll be getting up 4:30 a.m. Saturday morning, jumping on a plane. We're flying to Boston. We're heading up to Maine, where we're actually wrestling with Limitless Wrestling. We're wrestling a WWE ID team, Swipe Right. We're very excited about that match. I've heard a lot about good things about these guys. They're pretty talented. So we're going to be doing that. And anytime, if you're a sports fan and you don't get wrestling, wrestling is a sport in a capacity, but it is also entertainment in a capacity. And it's kind of where it's where worlds collide. There's entertainment and there's athleticism, involved in both ways. And it's like the beautiful mix of it. And I think that's what makes it a beautiful art. When you call it sports entertainment, that truly is what pro wrestling is.
John Alba, SNY guy, big sports guy. His home promotion, I believe, is Limitless up in Maine, and that's
It is.
It's is that Fandango's promotion?
He is from that area too. He's going to be there. The system's going to be there. There's going to be quite a bunch of TNA guys this Saturday night.
So one of the big things we think about in wrestling is trust and how you have to trust your partner and trust your opponent. WWE kind of ran a weird scenario where Seth Rollins is injured in the ring and there are only a handful of people, and now it might have been the greatest what were they calling it?
Ruse?
The greatest ruse of the century. I gotta ask Matt, like if you're in the ring and something comes out later that may have been more choreographed than actually legit, how would that make you feel?
I would be fine with it. I'm all for it. I think that's where professional wrestling has to go because there's so many stories that get leaked, and I think it's as more people are opening their minds and opening their eyes to the business and know how it works, they're giving you Unreal. So I think that gives them a little bit more room to kind of manipulate those stories. And the more we can blur fiction and fact That makes pro wrestling better. The best thing pro wrestling can be is unpredictable. If you're not sure what's going to happen next, that's when it's at its best. And I absolutely love the Seth Rollins thing. I think it was a stroke of genius, and kudos go out to everybody involved. It gave everybody in that stadium on Saturday night a true moment.
And Seth Rollins did avenge Jeff Hardy being cashed in on by CM Punk.
It's so funny. I put that tweet up as a joke, and it went viral. It's got 10,000 retweets or whatever. It was the exact same scenario, though.
Yeah, it's the internet's a weird place. Things that you think go one way, and people don't understand when you're joking or when you're being serious. But Matt, did you watch the full Unreal series, and what'd you think about it?
I have seen episode 1. I've got 5 or 10 more minutes in it. I watched the first episode, and I enjoyed it. I didn't see a ton of things that haven't been revealed at some point in the past, but I am looking forward to watching the whole thing. And I don't think it's going to be damaging to the business, especially older people, old timers where the business was such a different animal. I think, if anything, the people that are diehard wrestling fans, especially the people that are on the internet that are trying to get the inside scoop, that want to know the inside intel and whatnot, I think it's going to leave them very intrigued. So I think it's going to be a positive one.
I watched the full thing. I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the most of it, where Triple H takes over the main talent and he's just walking the truck through everything.
Right.
He's telling them, "Hey, Cody's going to tell The Rock to F off. Let it go through." He's telling the truck, like, there's going to be a promo here, get this shot here. I found it fascinating, and how good somebody who you're familiar with, how good a producer Michael P.S. Hayes is.
Yeah, he's the best. I got to chat with him. We chatted with him for a long time yesterday after we got to the building, so it was really good to catch up with him. And he is a brilliant mind. Also, I got to shout out Shane Helms. He is a Michael Hayes in the making. He is a brilliant mind as well, and he's killing it right now in his role as a producer also.
Hey, Matt, I wanted to ask you about Jeff and his journey and where he's been. It was rumored that he could have been at WrestleMania this year. They went with Joe Hendry instead. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's true or not. Can you validate that story? And, look at Joe Hendry and what he's doing right now and everything to that degree. Can you just talk about that, just the crossover that is happening between TNA and WWE?
Yeah, I mean, the crossover is amazing, and we have spoke with WWE about doing additional things with them too. I mean, it could be NXT, could be main roster, who knows? And I think it's also very beneficial to wear a WWE legacy act, no doubt about it. So there is a lot left for us to do there, and I think when it's all said and done, we probably want to end our career at WWE and do the Hall of Fame. Whenever we are ready to hang it up, we make that ultimate decision.
Ooh, who'd let you in, by the way? Who'd you want to induct you?
I would want Michael Hayes to. He would be my first pick, because Michael Hayes is the guy that first took us under his wing, and that Vince stuck him with us to learn from him, and we learned more from Michael Hayes than we did any other individual in pro wrestling, and we'll always be grateful. We call him our wrestling daddy, and he is in many, many ways.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but anything to that WrestleMania Jeff Hardy thing?
Yeah, no, there were a few names on the list, and I think both of our names were on the list. Wow. So
awesome.
It could have been several different people, and I know there's some people that they could have returned and showed up, but Joe Hendry ended up being the person they went with, and I think they wanted a more lighthearted, feel-good moment with the whole Randy Orton scenario, and I thought it was great. It worked wonders for Joe Hendry. I can tell you this: the next 2 or 3 tapings we did following that, his post-show meet and greet line got much longer, and he got more popular. I mean, he was on WrestleMania, which is the biggest event in pro wrestling every single year. So that's a benefit, no doubt.
Sitting ringside, seeing a 6-team TLC, did you get the itch to get back in there and pull a WrestleMania 33 repeat where you're the surprise team and you end up going in there and winning it?
Oh, we were ready. I mean, they asked us, they said, would you ever do another TLC? I said, brother, we were ready to go tonight. If they wanted to make it 7 teams, we had our gear with us, brother. We were ready.
One of the best pops, right?
Yep.
By far.
We were there, Joe.
Yeah, we were there. It's by far one of the best. Hey, Matt, I have one more thing for you, man. Can you think of anybody else who has wrestled in the biggest promotions, TNA, AEW, WWE? You're one of the only guys that I know that has experienced all of that. Is there something that you could take away from each promotion that you can carry with you to continue to keep progressing in your career?
Yeah, I mean, pro wrestling is just like life. Life is a constant evolution, and you constantly change. And I feel one thing I've been pretty decent with over the span of my career is being able to evolve and do different characters. You know, when the internet started getting hot and popular, and I remember there were people in WWE told me, said, Matt, I got to tell you, I think you're putting too much thought into this internet. It's never really going to be a big deal when it comes to pro wrestling. Lo and behold, did that change because that wasn't the case. But you know, I did Matt Hardy version 1, the Sensei of Mattitude, and my entrance was even like something from the internet, you know, and it had the Matt fact and everything else. There was a point where the guys had gotten so athletic and so many people were killing it and doing great things, and they were much smaller in size. I said, let me do a throwback to like the Magical Undertaker and Papa Shango when I started doing Broken Matt Hardy. That was my original inspiration for doing that. And then I took stuff from Dexter and True Detective and True Blood, and I created that character, and that ended up winning over the wrestling world as well. So I think anytime you go to any company, you just look at what's going on there. You look at what's current in pop culture, and you look what is current and cool with the wrestling fans, and then you learn how to adapt. I feel like I've been pretty good at doing that.
You and Matt Cardona, you guys are the ones who use the internet to your advantage, and you guys should get the most amount of credit for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Very kind of you.
Well, let's put some asses in seats, huh? This Sunday.
Yeah, man.
The world famous Kowloon's turning 75 this year, Matt. So they've been around forever. They've been had a relationship with wrestlers for literally that long.
Yeah.
Doors open, noon. Everybody get the VIP. Just get the VIP. You get to sit up front. You get to meet the guys. You get to talk, and it's an awesome time. We saw you last year too, Matt. It was awesome. Show starts at 1. You can get your tickets. KowloonRestaurant.com. I know Jeff's going to do a live acoustic set after. I saw that show in Dallas a couple of years ago. He was with Bischoff and a couple of other guys. So, Kowloon website, go to KowloonRestaurant.com. Matt's going to be there. Jeff's going to be there. Anything else, Jimmy, you want to add?
Well, I'm somebody who I still call people. So if you want to call the Kowloon, 781-233-0077, and you can actually talk to a real person and give them your credit card information to get VIP tickets or a GA ticket.
And, Matt, you're going to be in Maine before you guys do the show, right?
We are, yeah. We're going to be there wrestling Saturday night. We're going to drive right back down to the Boston area, and then we will be there bright and early Sunday morning. And like you said, doors open at 12. I'll kick it off with a podcast. We're going to be doing a brand new first run podcast episode right there, and then Jeff's going to be doing that acoustic concert, and then we're going to be doing what we call a meet, greet, and delete, because we're going to delete the line. And one thing I can tell you, which is very advantageous, because the area in there isn't massive. They're only selling 120 VIP meet and greet things to meet myself and Jeff, and those are almost gone. So I would recommend getting them as soon as you possibly can, because often if you come out to CSA, if you're at Rhode Island Comic-Con or a Comic-Con in Massachusetts or New York Comic-Con, a lot of times our line is 3-4 hours long, and it's going to be a much shorter line. You're going to have a much better opportunity to meet us and interact with us. So this is the kind of intimate moment you want with Matt and Jeff Hardy, I promise.
Well, he is Matt Hardy, one of the greatest of all time.